Hold up. Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Christmas came early. 2 boxing frauds were checked last weekend. Let's talk about it.
Listen, there was 2 different fights that happened this past weekend that kind of got everybody smiling a little bit. I think we all came united and we all started smiling at the results of these 2 fights. So let's go ahead and address the first one. Andrew Tate versus Chase Demoor. Listen, man, Andrew Tate has to hold this major L. Now, I know all of his fans, all of the dick riders that love Andrew Tate are going to come out here and make excuse after excuse after excuse because they want to ride this man Johnson the same way that Andrew Tate almost rode Chase Demoor's Johnson. And listen, Andrew Tate is in fact a former kickboxing champion. Even though record is spotty, we'll give it to him. Andrew Tate portrays himself as this ultimate alpha male, this you must follow me because you should pay my course because I am that guy. I have all the money, I'm in good shape, I get the women, blah, to blah, to blah. And the problem with that is that even though Andrew Tate, again, is a former kickboxing champion, this is boxing, entirely different sport. You would think because of those former titles, this individual would put up a decent fight, and he didn't. Chase Demoor, all due respect, is a nobody in boxing. He's the Misfits heavyweight champion, fake title, for a fake boxer fighting another fake boxer. So the fact that you couldn't put this man down, Andrew Tate, as a former legitimate kickboxing champion, sus, extremely sus. I'll be honest with you, puts the question a little bit how strong that previous record was. Now, Andrew Tate went on and did some interviews afterwards and said, oh, I'm a 40-year-old man. Oh, I've been out of the ring 10 years. You know who else is an old man? 50-year-old Anderson Silva, and he did perfectly fine this past weekend. He actually did perfectly fine against someone that I would consider more of a legitimate fighter than Chase Demoor. Now, don't get me wrong, Tyron Woodley's also past his prime, also getting old, also got put down, all that good stuff, so I'm not going to defend Tyron Woodley in this particular aspect, but I consider him a better fighter, or at least a more legitimate fighter than a Chase Demoor. So I don't want to hear none of this old man shit. Anderson Silva will also be, even though he's a disgrace, Chavez Jr. Again, disgrace, but legitimate boxer. So I don't want to hear none of this old man stuff. Listen, Andrew Tate has said this quite a number of different times, that when soft times comes, it breeds soft men. Andrew Tate hasn't really had to struggle for anything in quite some time, has he? This cushy lifestyle, always smoking these cigarettes. Sure, he works out, but is that really all it takes to win a fight? Absolutely not. So I don't want to hear nothing about this dude being the top G, about being the ultimate alpha male, the blue blah, 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 anymore. Listen, he said some things that I agree with as long as you try, you never really lose. That's fair, but here's the thing. You did lose. You did lose. I'm not mad at the man trying to make this noble statement, but he's not doing it because he's noble himself. He's doing it because he wants to get out of the L the L of losing. Because let's be honest, if he would have beat Chase Demoor, it wouldn't have gone as nobly as it did. So that being said, I'm sure myself and many, many other people were smiling at that loss because, let's be honest, the man didn't go out like a G. He went out on his knees. And that's embarrassing as a man to be kneeling in front of another man because at that point, let's be honest, that man enforced his will upon you. Huge L for Andrew Tate, and even more of a huge L for his fans, if I'm being honest with you. What do you think about that, my man?
Yo, Andrew Tate's got to be holding a bunch of L because not only did he lose when he boasted himself as not only an alpha male, a top G, former kickboxing champion, even though this is boxing in general, so basically he's a nobody in the world of boxing, but you lost against another man that had no history in boxing whatsoever. Again, he's Misfits heavyweight champion, which again, that's not even a boxing organization. That's influencers fighting other influencers. So you yourself, somebody that was a former fighting champion, losing against another influencer. And keep in mind, he's had some fighting experience, but Chase Demoor was a reality TV star first and foremost, a former collegiate athlete in college football second, and a boxing third. And you lost against all of that. Not only that, the lead up to this, the zestiest that I've ever seen. In fact, going out in the zestiest manner possible with those jump ropes that, not gonna lie, you're not exactly dodging the allegations there. Going out on your knees, double not dodging the allegations there. Going out on your knees and gripping another man's legs like that? Yo. He's got to be holding a bunch of L's, and guess what? Ain't dodging the allegations here. But enough about this fight. What's the other fraud check we're talking about?
And listen, I think everybody, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see too many people praising Jake Paul here. Sure, some, because there's always going to be the dick riders, but not too many. This was the most legitimate fraud check in quite some time. Everybody was saying, I know, I talked to a couple of my coworkers, but everyone was saying, listen, man, it's going to be scripted. We're not saying that. A lot of people I was talking to on the street. There's no way that Jake Paul's actually going to get put down. It's not going to happen. We all saw how Mike Tyson held back, blah, 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 blah. To see Anthony Joshua put him down with just a beautiful punch, he touched him to the body. That made Jake's hands drop. And then to come over the top and just straight across the jaw. The perfect punch across the jaw. It was poetry. It's going to be played over and over and over again in a lot of people's mind. Because finally, Jake Paul faces a legitimate boxer. Don't get me wrong, Tommy Fury was a legitimate boxer, even though I don't think very highly of him. He was a boxer professionally, so I can't be mad at that. But now he faces a legitimate boxer. Someone that actually damaged him and proved it because he broke his jaw. 2 places. So listen, it was one of the most beautiful things that we've seen recently because I'll be honest with you, I was also on that train like, man, there's got to be some catch because I personally, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it was actually going to happen, folks. I believe that there was going to be something out there that was going to show like, oh, see, that's why that fight happened. And no, Anthony Joshua beat Jake Paul around the ring. And don't get me wrong, Jake Paul made it hard for him because he was not there to fight. He was there to survive. So for this individual to dance around the ring, but still get put out, beautiful. I want to thank, and I say this in our previous recording of this video, in our lead up to the actual fight, that I said that if Anthony Joshua does in fact KO Jake Paul, he is going to be one of the most beloved figures in boxing because finally we got someone to actually put some work on this boy. Again, if you notice now, twice, the 2 times that Jake Paul has faced legitimate boxers, even though one of them, again, I don't think super highly of, and Tommy Fury, he's lost both times. Some people will say, well, Mike Tyson is a legitimate fighter. Mike Tyson is a geriatric individual. Let's not do that to Mike Tyson. If the actual Mike Tyson showed up, do you guys really believe he would have beat Mike Tyson? Let's be real here. But no. He got to face a bunch of MMA stars, a retired basketball player along the way. But the only 2 times he's faced legitimate boxers that are still currently boxing, he lost to L. I'm hoping that this kind of opens the eye of all of his fans to show, look, listen, man, he's not a legitimate boxer. If he wants to go do that mitzvah stuff and he wants to go fight other influence, hey, props to you, big dog. I will respect the crap out of that because at least you know your lane. But let's be honest, he's going to continue to milk this. It's funny, I actually saw a video of Logan Paul in the corner of Anthony Joshua talking to him. Oh, you lost every round. Oh, what are you doing? This is going to end your legacy, blah, blah. And then that same round, right after that, this happens. This is why I like these types of fights when these people get humbled, because here's the thing. It's all a facade. The whole thing behind these people, it's a facade. It's making you think something's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. Now, here's the one thing where we all still lose. Jake Paul made an insane amount of money, $95 million reported. So he's still winning. Did he get his jaw broken? Yes. Is he going to have to eat solid foods by his own words? Liquid foods only for a week by his own words? Absolutely. And there's a little bit of awesomeness that we all get from that, right? We all get to see the beauty happen. And for the most part, people like us, I'm going to be honest with you, we're probably going to ignore Jake Paul moving forward because this is just more proof. This is just more proof that he's not a legitimate boxer. That being said, love to see it. Love to see the thing that Anthony Joshua said before the fight. I'm going to take him soul, and either I'm going to knock him out or I'm going to see him quit in his eyes. And if you see right before the punch landed, if you look at the still, you can tell Jake Paul knew, I'm gone. This is it. Love to see it. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, I know some people are going to try and give Jake Paul their credit. And to be honest, I don't like it because we're basically giving Jake Paul the credit for basically the bare absolute minimum for making a fight happen. I know people like Ariel Helwani, which, boo on this man. And Lawrence Oakley, boo on this man too, saying, look, man, say what you want about Jake Paul, but he got in the ring with an actual killer in Anthony Joshua. And I'm like, there was a contract. There was $90 million on the line. You ask anybody on the street if, hey, you want to go 6 rounds with a heavyweight boxer for $90 million? I guarantee you, like my man said here before we started recording, 99.9% of the people are going to take that fight, boxing skills or otherwise. So if we're going to give Jake Paul the absolute bare minimum for that, okay, cool. Anybody would take that. Are we going to give their respects too for getting into the ring with a killer? Absolutely not. And another thing. Everybody wants to say, well, he finally got in there. He finally had a fight with Anthony Joshua. Fight? That's you guys saw that? If it was anybody else in Jake Paul's shoes, for them to do the amount of running, the amount of clinching, the amount of knees within 6 rounds, going up against somebody like Anthony Joshua, you guys would call them all cowards. You would say they're stalling the fight. You would say, find this man for inactivity. And even the ref wasn't having any of that. The ref was like, look, dog, nobody's paying for any of this. And he was looking at Jake Paul when he was saying that. Look, dog, a lot of people paid good money for this. They don't want to see this. They don't want to see all this running. They don't want to see all this clinching. And also, about the clinching, on your knees and gripping this man's hips like that, grabbing Anthony Joshua's titties in the pre-fight, double L, quadruple L, colossal L. So, yeah, you want to give credit to Jake Paul for getting in the ring? Cool. You also have to give the same respect to actual fighters and say, look, man, people like Francis Ngannou, Francis Ngannou only lasted 2 rounds. Francis Ngannou actually came to fight. Jake Paul ran around and was gripping man's hips more often than a Diddy party. So, big L for Jake Paul, and Anthony Joshua beating the absolute English breakfast out of this man deserves the colossalest W's possible, closing out the entire boxing year, and quite frankly, we are absolutely happy to see that.
Listen, man, I gotta completely agree with my partner here. Going in there, just trying to survive, not looking to fight. We've never given credit to anybody like that. If Jake Paul wants to be considered a legitimate boxer, we're gonna criticize him just like any other boxer. Anytime I've seen any boxer go in there and just try to survive, not even try to win the fight, I'm not gonna give him credit for it. I don't care who they are. I've said it with a few of Canelo's opponents. One of the Charlo brother faced him. He wasn't going into the fight. He was looking to survive. He wanted to get a payday. This is the exact same thing that happened. You tell me right now, you watching this video, you tell me if someone said, we will pay you $95 million just to get in the ring. No one said anything about winning. No one said anything about making it to the end. No one said anything about anything. Just to get in the ring with them. You telling me you wouldn't do it? You absolutely would. And should you get credit? No. If Jake Paul went in there and did it just solely for the glory of the game to say, I want people to respect me. I'm going to give him out. And even if he got knocked out cold, that I would respect. He didn't go in there to fight. He went in there to survive as long as possible. I think Jake Paul legitimately thought he could make it until the end, and that's what he was trying to do. And it didn't work out for him. All he had to do wasn't even a full fight. It wasn't even a 10-round fight. 8 rounds. All he needed to do was make it 8 rounds, and he couldn't do it. So we're not going to be giving credit to nobody for just surviving. If he went in there and legitimately tried, fair, but that's not what he was doing. He wasn't going in there to fight. And Ngannou went in there to fight. And Ngannou was like, even though it was a little bit foolish of Ngannou to think he could beat Joshua, and Ngannou literally thought, hey, I can beat this guy. And he made an attempt. Didn't work out for him, but at least he made an attempt. Jake Paul didn't make the attempt. He landed maybe one good punch, and it was a wild punch that he threw and landed just because he was in close proximity to Anthony Joshua when Anthony Joshua was coming forward. That's it. We're not going to give credit to that type of stuff here. So thank you to Anthony Joshua. Thank you to Chase Demoor. Thank you guys for giving us an early Christmas present. We love to see these people humbled. And listen, again, I understand a lot of people are going to try and give both of these dudes credits for different reasons. But listen to their own words, and their own words will discredit them. I don't want to hear no more about, oh, well, he did this. He did it for $95 million. I guarantee you Ariel Helwani is the most non-confrontational physically person when it comes to somebody. He doesn't ever try to square up with anybody because he knows he's not that guy. But if you were to tell Ariel Helwani, hey, you get in there with Anthony Joshua, we will give you $95 million, guarantee you he'd do it. Because what is he thinking about? He's thinking about my family. He's got kids and stuff like that. So I don't want to hear none of this. Oh, well, he did. No, he didn't. He did it for the money. We would all do it for the money. Stop the cap. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.